round of talks that took place between both sides. These are military level talks. It happened over the weekend, and there's been no breakthrough whatsoever between India and China. Let me just tell you exactly what's been said. So India, on our part, there was a statement that was that mentioned that constructive suggestions were made by us to actually resolve all of the issues in the remaining areas along the line of actual control, and we've said very clearly that the Chinese side refused to come to the table, was not agreeable on these suggestions, and that they did not have any forward-looking proposals. So India maintains that while we are trying hard to kind of solve this issue, China is simply not willing to budge. The PLA, the People's Liberation Army, the Chinese army, came out with a statement where they said that our demands were unrealistic and unreasonable, and that's China's excuse, they say, for not having any sort of constructive dialogue on the matter. What this round of talks has established is that it seems almost like we're back to square one. While we saw disengagement in some parts like Pangong, there are several other areas like the Depsang Plains where disengagement hasn't happened yet. And while we thought that the previous rounds of disengagement would help and perhaps ensure some progress along the other parts of the line of actual control, that hasn't happened. So far, the statements between India and China have largely been that the dialogue has happened, we look forward to the next round of talks. This time, both sides have clearly dug in their heels. We are digging in our heels, saying that there will be no compromise on our demands. China is conveniently saying that it's unreasonable and unrealistic. So that is an update on what happened over the weekend with regards to the India-China military level talks, the 13th round of it, and doesn't look like we're any closer to ensuring that there's complete disengagement at the line of actual control. Let me also tell you, I'm sure a lot of you want to know about what's happening in the Lakhimpur case 1 week on. Remember that this incident happened on October 3rd. It's been a week. Ashish Mishra, the son of Union Minister Ajay Mishra, in dramatic developments over the weekend, finally appeared before the police, was questioned, and then was subsequently arrested. So he's currently in judicial custody. The UP police will be seeking that they can question him. They're going to seek his custody because they're saying that that's integral to the investigation. What we're hearing right now is that Ashish Mishra hasn't given details about his exact whereabouts when the violence broke out in Lakhimpur, particularly the incident of the cars mowing down protesters. According to the police, no information has been given by Ashish right now as to exactly where he was in that time. The day he says he was at a wrestling match, but that exact time when it happened, which is in the afternoon on Sunday, he hasn't given details of exactly where he is. So they're saying that they need his custody for some days at least, to ensure that they can get those details from him. Also, what we're seeing today is that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, and there's been endless politics for the last 1 week on this issue. For the Congress, it's been Priyanka Gandhi who's been leading from the front essentially, and taking it on, really taking on the government head on, making it very clear that she will not relent till there is justice. Today she's on a silent protest, and this silent protest is for 3 hours, and the message from Priyanka is that she's saying the government, the centre, must sack Union Minister Ajay Mishra. He is the MOS whom, as I mentioned, his son is Ashish Mishra, who's currently in judicial custody. And Priyanka is saying that when there's such a serious allegation of murder, of rioting, of criminal conspiracy against his son, he simply cannot continue in office. So this Maun Vrat, this silent protest, is about that. And the Congress is planning this nationwide protest. So they're making it very clear that they're going to continue to pile the pressure. They're not going to let the BJP forget about this incident anytime now. And while we speak about politics, very often what we see is the kind of politics that affects you and me and has perhaps a lot of symbolism for these parties, but at the end of the day affects the common man. I'm talking about what's happening in Maharashtra. The Lakhimpur politics isn't just limited to Uttar Pradesh or restricted to that state. In Maharashtra, the government, which is the Maha Vikas Aghadi, has called for a bund today. So all day there's actually a shutdown. So this is because the government says that we're expressing a solidarity with farmers, which surely can be done in other ways besides a band, because a shutdown affects the locals, affects the people, the Aam Aadmi of the state. As far as the impact of the band is concerned, for all you Mumbaikars watching this broadcast, Best buses aren't plying. Non-essential shops are closed. There's lesser traffic on the roads because of the bund call, but otherwise all essentials will be functioning. That's something that the government has also confirmed. But you will be slightly inconvenienced if you rely on public transport, because there is lesser frequency of that and buses aren't functioning. So as I mentioned, is this the kind of politics we need? We've had endless debates on whether a bund is really effective or not, and whether, while in this posturing and political symbolism, it's you and I who pay the price. Besides what's happening in Lakhimpur, and while we keep a close focus on all the developments on that and get you updated on it, I also want to tell you about the other big story that's dominated headlines for the last 1 week, the Mumbai cruise drug bust case. Aryan Khan could get bail, and I'm going to emphasize on could, because his bail plea may come up for hearing in the Sessions Court today. If that happens, his legal team is going to be pushing full steam ahead to ensure that he gets some relief. So far, last many days, there's been no legal respite whatsoever for Aryan, and that's translated to him being lodged in the Arthur Road jail for the last 3 days now. If he doesn't secure bail today, it'll be 4 days and counting. So his legal team is hoping that they can get some sort of a breather. Remember, Aryan was detained, subsequently arrested back on October 3rd. The Narcotics Control Bureau we're hearing is going to outrightly oppose his bail, because they're saying that he still has a lot of information that they require, and based on which they've really been progressing with the investigation. They've taken a number of people into custody. The number of arrests really in this case has gone up now to 20. Again, every controversy has its share of politics. Here too, you've got the NCP claiming that, the Narcotics Control Bureau is functioning at the behest of the BJP. They claim that 3 people were taken into custody, were detained along with Aryan Khan, and then let off because of pressure from the BJP. That's something that the narco agency so far has outrightly denied. So will Aryan Khan get relief today or not is something that we will keep our focus on and tell you about. At this point, it's still a big question mark on whether the Sessions Court, which is loaded with petitions today, will have time to hear Aryan Khan as well and his bail plea. So that remains a big question mark at this point. The hearing is just about to begin, I can tell you that, and a senior lawyer, Amit Desai, is also there. He's been included in Aryan Khan's legal team to argue along with Satish Manishinde, who's been representing Aryan for the last many days. I also want to get you an update this Monday morning. Unfortunately, no good news on the fuel prices front. For the 7th straight day, you've got prices being hiked. So petrol prices going up by about 29 to 30 paise per litre, diesel by 35 to 37 paise per litre. And I'm sure in most of the cities that you state, the 100 rupee mark has long been breached. At this point, doesn't look like you're going to be seeing any sort of relief coming up anytime now, because of the fact that there are a number of factors that have to be kept in mind, and the government is saying that right now it will be a little difficult to bring any sort of respite. What this means, this particular hike, it means that the petrol price in Delhi has reached its highest ever of 104 rupees per litre. And you've also got diesel rates in Delhi at 93.17 rupees. So that's how much the prices have gone up. So unfortunately, no good news on that front. That's another story that we'll get you the latest on, particularly the government's reactions coming in on this unprecedented hike really in fuel prices. Those are the stories that we're tracking this Monday morning. Do stay tuned to us here on India Today for the latest on those